Hello and welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of the Rush Hour podcast. I am Harrison Warner here with my co-host Dr. Rush. So let's rush into it.
Hey Harrison, feels good to have the headset back on.
Yes.
Season 2. Here we go. Another school year. I know you're a busy man.
Yep.
Senior year for you in the middle school, so that's exciting.
Yes.
We got lots to catch up on.
Yeah. So first, this episode's really just going to be about covering everything that's happened since our last episode. And I would have to say the biggest thing is the World Cup. I think it was so big not just because it happened in North America. It brought so much soccer back here, and it showed a lot of people from outside where they don't live in North America. A lot of people loved it here.
Right.
And it was so cool to see all the fans here and stuff, and like how much ruach they have. It
was definitely fun to watch. And obviously being in Dallas, we were, kind of in the middle of it. I don't know if you got to get to a game. I did not, but I certainly watched all of the U.S. games with my buddies here, and then watched a handful of other games just for entertainment. But World Cup is always fun, no matter what. But to have it here was pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a way bigger March Madness.
Right.
I mean, there's always games happening, especially in the beginning when it's just like the pool play. There's always games happening, and it was really cool. Not in the U.S. game, even though they had a great run, like the Cape Verde game when they tied Spain, and then they beat Uruguay, and they played Argentina in like the first round where you could
knock
get eliminated.
Out. Right.
Yeah. And they almost won, which would have been
insane. Insane.
Crazy.
And obviously, we don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the woes of the U.S. soccer team. Yes, they did. They had a great showing and all of that. But I think the last game was a letdown, not because they lost to a better team, but just they played so scared and so to not win, or to. It was just a weird. Yeah. It was a weird vibe from the beginning, and then there was all the controversy with Balbuena and all that. But anyway, it was a great summer for sure on that.
It was amazing, and seeing Spain, a 19-year-old, win his World Cup, the first one of I'm guessing many, was really cool to see. And there was this one photo that was popping up all over social media when Spain and Argentina were playing each other. It was Messi holding Lamine Yamal when he was not even a year old.
Wow! I think I saw that. I didn't see that.
It was
one.
crazy.
That's awesome.
And it wasn't AI.
Right.
Which was absolutely crazy to see, and that just showed it was almost like passing the torch, which was crazy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. So on today's episode, we're going to look back a little bit over the last 4 months, and there's been a lot of crazy stuff in the world of sports. Yes, the World Cup, but so many other things, whether it's NBA, Major League Baseball, WNBA, NFL preseason, Little League World Series. There's so much going on. So we're each going to take a few topics and talk briefly about them, and we'll, of course, bring back the homework assignment, and I got some good ones for you.
All right, so I'm going to start NBA. This was a really, really fun offseason. Maybe not for me, but, for a fan that none of their players got traded. A lot of big names got traded and signed with different teams. Giannis to the Heat. The Heat basically traded their whole team. LaMelo to the Timberwolves. John Morant to the Trailblazers. And Julius Randle to the Brooklyn Nets. And then obviously, my guy Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. I was really mad. It happened on my birthday too.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that was on your birthday.
Yeah, so it was pretty crushing to hear. Especially I was in camp up in Boston, or New Hampshire, and everyone there is Celtics fans.
I don't know if maybe I sent it to you, but there was a young kid up there who was just crying, and he goes, "I love you," and then ultimately he got to meet him. That was.
And
but he had a lot going on.
And then I'd say the other, biggest thing is LeBron James going to sign with the Sixers. I personally think, they have an amazing starting five, but Jaylen Brown was talking crap about Embiid at the end of the season before when he was still in
Right.
Boston. And I don't think it's gonna work out there. And they're gonna need the money to pay those guys. Jaylen Brown was eligible this summer for a 2-year extension worth $150 million, and he has 3 years left on his deal. So that means the Celtics will be paying him $75 million when he's 33 and 34, which honestly just doesn't really make any sense.
Right.
And Trae Young had a big deal. He signed back with Washington, which will be interesting to see. AJ DeBanza, Trae Young, they got some other guys, Anthony Davis. So it's gonna be an interesting season this year. I think the Celtics are still in the run, but I don't. It's not their year this year.
Well, and that's a great recap of some of the big things, and I think you did a great job there. The thing that we didn't wrap up was the other thing we were both wrong about the NBA Finals, and kudos to the Knicks, good for them. I think for me the Spurs, obviously a really great and young, talented team. They probably were a little ahead of schedule, but similar to what I said about the World Cup U.S. team. In that series, especially when you blow a 30-point lead, it's like you're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win, and they just kind of, I think the youth showed. And again, no disrespect to the Knicks because they played the best in that series and they won the title, and good for New York. And it's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say, congrats to New York, obviously, as I'm a Celtics fan, but I feel like it felt like it was all experience, like some of the mistakes, Stephon Castle, he passed it to Wemby,
right,
and Wemby I think it was Wemby passed it to Stephon Castle, and he didn't look around, hit the ball, they got the ball, then they scored, De'Aaron Fox went up for the layup, didn't need to, could have just dribbled it out, so it's all those little mistakes. Their coach is one of the youngest in the NBA, I mean, they're just really young, and now that I go back on it, I really think if the Thunder were to play against the Knicks, I think the Thunder would have won the series. Just because off of experience, and I think the Spurs were just there to beat the Thunder. I think the Thunder and the Spurs are both better teams than the Knicks. I just think the Knicks wanted it more than the Spurs.
And that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll stick with basketball, but go to the other side of the ledger and some of the drama with the WNBA, specifically with Caitlin Clark, who obviously is a fierce competitor and can be a little LeBron-esque in terms of some flops and things like that, but I don't think it's wrong to say that she definitely is targeted by some other players.
For sure.
Elbows to the throat and just sort of excess stuff. And there's so much talk. There's been so much talk about it, but I don't think you go after. In this case, a player that has brought so much money, so much revenue, so much notoriety to the WNBA, which, for the record, every season has been a losing organization. They're $40 million in the hole almost every year until Caitlin Clark shows up, and now all of the teams are taking chartered planes and staying in nicer places, hotels, as opposed to how they were before. And look, whether you like Caitlin Clark or not, what do you want to make a case about her being the color that she is, or that she's straight, or whatever? It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that she is the best player in the WNBA. There's not a question about it. And just like you would get a Tom Brady treatment or a LeBron treatment or a Wayne Gretzky treatment or fill-in-the-blank superstar that is the GOAT in that era, it's not that they're untouchable, but you got to at least take care of the sacred cow at that moment, so that the league, in this case, which doesn't have a long history of success, perpetuates itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's plays, you see someone on purposely hit her or something like that, and people are clapping, like the people on the team that just hit her or fouled her, and that's just, you just don't do that, and it does feel like it's targeting, and it almost feels like Caitlin Clark entered the league, and the people that were already in the league think it's like it's their league. But honestly, like you said, the WNBA was like not even close to as big as it was until she joined. So and Angel Reese being like, the only reason we watch women's basketball today isn't just because of Clayton Clark. Like, it's because of me too. And it's just like it's no, not really. I mean,
right. There are certain people that watch it for certain players,
Yeah,
whether that's
yeah.
Angel Reese or Paige or whoever. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But the reality is that
It-
from a global perspective,
it's Caitlin Clark.
and Caitlin Clark could easily take herself to go play for Ice Cube in the
Yeah.
on three
Yeah.
or go play in Europe and make way more money. But that's not good for the WNBA. Anyway, that's obviously that was one of my things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think the WNBA has been pretty interesting. All the stuff, the draft, Juju Watkins. I mean, I thought she was going in the draft last year. She's coming off a torn ACL, so that'll be, hopefully she can also, help bring up the league a little bit. She's really good, so yeah, I think they're definitely going up right now, which is great for the WNBA.
Headed to the playoffs not too long from now.
Yeah. All right. My next one, I'm gonna do the Red Sox.
Okay.
Well, I guess
What a
baseball so far.
Right. But yeah, I know. Yeah, you're going to throw a little Red Sox. That's
Yeah. So
and to be fair, it's a great story. They were
Yeah.
kind of in the cellar, and then all of a sudden.
I mean, I was at camp obviously, but I went home halfway through camp because it was like visiting day, and when I like got picked up, my grandpa was telling me how they're on like a 10-game win streak, or like 13-game win streak. So I went home for a few days, like in Dallas, went back up, and they were on like a 17-game win streak. And then the day before I was supposed to go back to camp, that was when they broke the streak. But it was crazy because at camp, listening to everyone talk about it, it was almost like they didn't know like how crazy it was. But I mean, it was one of the best win streaks of all time, which was absolutely crazy to see. Most historic, worst to wild card comebacks in franchise history. They were at 32 and 46. Won 17 straight.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely wild.
And they made some trades and all the good stuff.
And in their past 50 games, they're 36 and 14.
What's crazy about where we are with about a month left in the season is that the AL East might have as many as 4 teams make the playoffs, which is crazy. It also shows the strength of that division. And on the other side of the ledger, the AL West is not pretty when you've got the leading teams are right at 500 or just under 500.
Yeah.
The Rangers and the Astros. And honestly, I think now that the Mariners are getting healthy, I think the Mariners are the best team in the division. I would have said that at the beginning. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come all the way back and neither the Astros nor the Rangers make a wild card, and it's the Mariners that go in as the only AL West team.
Yeah. And also a cool stat I saw. It says left-handed hitters in 2026 are accounting for 41.3% of all plate appearances, which is pretty crazy because, I guess, lefties, of course, are, I guess, popular in baseball, but seeing them, like, 40% of them hitting is pretty wild.
That's pretty wild. So I'm excited. I was a baseball guy. I'm excited about the final month of the season. I'm more of a National League guy. I watch all kind of baseball, but National League is also interesting with the Phillies, and now the Padres are finally got healthy and they're coming on. The Dodgers kind of struggled there for a moment. They had a 7 or 8 game losing streak after trades, after they got Skubal from the Tigers. But I don't know. I get excited about the postseason baseball. That's what it's all about.
And one more thing about the Dodgers. The same owner of the Dodgers, Mark Walters, is the guy who just sold the Lakers.
Right.
So that was another big story that we, I guess, forgot. But the Lakers, selling, and the Buss family with their 5 kids, and one of them wants to keep their share. Everyone else, it's a crazy story.
Well, it was some crazy amount some $1 billion.
He bought it for 10 and sold it for 12.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, here we go. All right, Harrison. I know it's been a few months, and I'm gonna give you a little homework assignment. Today's topic is second seasons.
Okay.
All right, so we're in our second season of doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd throw together 3 quick trivia questions for
Okay.
you of second seasons. And we're going to start, these are individual
Okay.
second seasons in major sports. So we'll
Okay.
start what I think was the easiest and maybe go to the hardest for you.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start in the NBA.
Okay.
In his second season, he averaged 31.7 points per game, 16 rebounds, 3.3 assists, shot 58% from the field, led the NBA in scoring, won the NBA MVP, won the NBA championship, and the Finals MVP, and in the regular season led his team to a 66-16 record. What second season person am I?
And this is all time, right?
As all time.
Jeez.
It is not in your lifetime.
Yeah, I know. I think it either has to be Wilt
Okay?
or Russell. Now that's what I'm thinking because the 16 rebounds. It's not LeBron or Jordan.
It is neither of those.
I'm gonna go Bill Russell.
You may know him as Lou Alcindor, but it is
It's
Kareem. It is
Yeah,
Kareem.
okay.
Yeah, that was Milwaukee. That was he led
okay.
Milwaukee to the title. So, all right, it's a tough one. Lots of good guesses there. The other guesses were very close because they're so similar.
Yeah.
All right, the second we're going to go NFL.
Okay.
In this person's second season, he threw for 5,084 yards, 48 touchdowns. He won the NFL's MVP. He led his team to the Super Bowl. They did not win, but they did go to the Super Bowl. He had a 108.9 QB rating. What's interesting was the 48 touchdowns was 12 more than the previous record of 36 in the NFL at that time. He was the first quarterback ever to throw over 5,000 yards in a season. This is all in his second season. And by the way, when he took this team to the Super Bowl, that's the last time that team has been to the Super Bowl.
Jeez. Okay, so it could not be Brady. Last time this team went to the Super Bowl. So this is not
Most
my-
importantly, 5,000 yards, and it was his second season in the NFL.
This is not my lifetime.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. No, the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl. This is their last appearance or last win?
A last appearance.
Last appearance. Is it? I mean, when was the last time the Jets went to the Super Bowl? No, I don't think it's Joe Namath. Jeez.
Yeah, no Namath because he wouldn't have thrown for 5,000
Yeah.
yards. It was good, but obviously they weren't super passing.
The guy in the Steelers. No, I don't.
The answer is Dan Marino.
Oh, I could have got that.
Dan Marino. Yeah, your division. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, last one, Major League Baseball. You may not know this guy. This is hard.
5,000 yards, Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Never won a Super Bowl. All right, so this guy, in his second Major League Baseball season, it's a pitcher. He went 24-4. That was his record on the mound. Had a 1.53 ERA. He struck out 268 batters. Harrison, I know this doesn't happen anymore, but in that season, he threw 16 complete games, 8 shutouts. Had a 12.2 win over replacement, and he won the pitching triple crown, which is ERA, wins, and strikeouts. He led the National League. He won the National League Cy Young. He finished 4th in the MVP. The stat did not exist back then, but they calculated it. The ERA plus, which is he had a 2.29 ERA plus, which means he was 129% better than the average pitcher that year. While his team won 98 games back in the day, there was not a wild card. So this is in the 80s. Their team won 98 games, but the Cardinals won 101, and so that team did not. The New York Mets did not make the playoffs that year. So who am I?
Oh gosh. This was in the 80s?
It is.
I have zero clue.
So Dwight Gooden is his name. One of my favorite players, actually,
Okay.
of all time. He wore number 16, which is also why I wore 16 in high school and forever.
Oh, really?
He was an unbelievable pitcher, great curveball, threw hard, ran into some drug problems in the 80s, but was awesome. He ended his career with the Yankees, threw a no-hitter with them. So Dwight Gooden. There you go.
Wow.
There's the three. All right, I'm going to keep going. So I want to talk about the NCAA and their
Okay.
ruling in June about fifth-year players. That is, they allowed an athlete to play 5 seasons in a 5-year span. They did not grandfather certain players in who were in the sort of pipeline or had injuries or whatever. And then, of course, most recently, now the ability for players that got cut from an NFL team in particular to go back to school and play college. And this week, the Big Ten, and then I think yesterday the SEC said the conference will not allow that. And so once again, the NCAA has made a mess of this, but actually, I think they did the right thing. There was no perfect way to solve this, but to sort of consolidate so you don't have guys playing 7, 8, 9 years of college football in this case, I think they made the decision. The problem is, how do you sort of grandfather the guys in that were already in midstream? There was a dozen of them. The NCAA has got all kinds of lawsuits filed against them.
They can only play 4 years.
They can play over a 5-year span. They can play 4 or 5 years. But you remember before, I remember maybe 2 years ago, the tight end for Miami was like in his 8th or 9th.
Yeah. So if you
because
get
of injuries or red shirts or transfers or whatever, you didn't play 4 games. So, I mean, it was just kind of Wild West. So the NCAA's job was to try to make it more clear.
Okay, so now if you redshirt or you, get injured,
You use one of the 5.
You use one of the 5
That's
years?
right.
Okay, wow.
It's kind of like it was designed to be originally, but then you had the COVID thing, and then you had, is a medical red shirt or was it a regular red shirt? So now it's just you have 5 years.
So do you think this is going to take away people from redshirting as much or no?
I think the fact that I don't know. Here's my thing. I think that with NIL money in particular, I think the freshmen and sophomores are going to play more. So a team's not going to spend money for a kid come as a freshman just because to keep them on the bench, especially when they could transfer. So anyway, I like the fact that the Big Ten and SEC have said we will not allow those types of guys those kinds of players. Also includes women's sports and professional leagues in Europe, and anybody who's basically played or been on a roster of a professional team, even in a preseason, is not allowed to go back to school to play. They can go back to school to get a degree, obviously, but not to play.
I mean, we saw that in March Madness. I'm pretty sure there was a center or something that actually played a few games in the NBA and then went down to college. Yeah, that should never happen.
So here we are.
Yeah, and also I saw a thing earlier this summer. It was looking like the SEC was looking to break off of the NCAA. Was that true? Like they were looking to do that?
I think there was conjecture, and the SEC commissioner said, no, that's not the case. I don't think it's far fetched to predict that will happen at some point. But we'll see what happens with the NCAA at large as an organization because it's still got things to fix. So, all right,
so
your turn.
My last one is going to be the NFL. There was also a lot of things that happened, interesting things, stuff that I like. I think the biggest trade was the Myles Garrett one.
Yeah.
That was... I was not expecting that at all. I know he signed, I think last year, or 2 years ago, a 4 or 5 year deal. So that was interesting to see. And there was no other player the Rams could have gave up. The Browns, honestly, I don't know if they got the value, but Jared Verse is going to be amazing. He's really good. So I think, Myles Garrett going to the Rams. I mean, Aaron Donald apparently is
Working
practicing
out. Yeah.
in pads and stuff. So if they have both of them, even a retired Aaron Donald with Myles Garrett, it's going to be
Scary.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I like the move for the Browns because I think it money wise saves them because they can go. Yes, Jared Verse is still going to cost you money, but it allows them to have a little more versatility to salary cap stuff. And the Rams are just like all in, like we get whatever it takes to win, and it's a good time for them.
Yeah. Trent McDuffie was a great ad for the Rams. I mean, their defense is going to look really good. Dexter Lawrence, one of the best D tackles to the Bengals, which I also like since they got rid of Trey Hendrickson. DJ Moore left, and this is Josh Allen's first year in the past 3 without legit receiver. So I think I think they can really go a long way. DJ Moore is a number 1 receiver, so it'll be interesting to see a lot of quarterback switches this year. And I feel like it's almost always the same quarterbacks. It's like Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, I guess Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Justin Jefferson's gonna have someone that can throw him the ball, but I think Kyler Murray already peaked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's played 9 years already.
Mm.
He's just too small, which is unfortunate if you can't see over your line. Aaron Rodgers final
season,
year.
yeah.
I feel like they might have paid him a little too much. And then the free agent signings were also really good. Mike Evans, I think that was a good signing for the Niners.
Especially now that Pearsall's out for the year,
Yeah.
he's having surgery, and
I love that. I think a lot of people were hating on the move Kenneth Walker when he signed with KC, but I like that. I don't think Mahomes has really had a sustainable running back. So to have a guy that won the Super Bowl MVP the year before is going to be big for him. And then the Pats, they got A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs. I mean, A.J. Brown, that was a great... I love that trade. It was bound to happen. Since
they traded Boutte the other day. Yeah,
that was actually... I didn't like that. Even though, they already have their wide receiver depth, they didn't really need him. He was... Drake May's thrown to him the most out of all of Drake May's targets. So, I don't know. I loved seeing Drake May throw the deep ball to him. So, I think, again, in the NBA, there was great signings. And I think the Patriots, not re-signing Christian Gonzalez yet makes me a little nervous. They need to do that because, even Christian Gonzalez said when you put the number 1 corner in practice against the number 1 receiver, it's like iron sharpens iron.
Right. Which he's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
I think the fall off of the Seahawks is going to be something to watch. I think I said in last season the Bears were good, but I don't know that they've advanced. I like what you said about the Chiefs, although offensive line wise, I don't think they're great. And so whether that's Mahomes' protection or Kenneth Walker getting holes, I think that's the thing. I love that people continue to hate on Jalen Hurts. That's great. Mm-hmm. I'm a little scared of the Giants because I think that they could be sneakily good. Neighbors coming back. He looks healthy. Not that Odell Beckham Jr. is a young, spry person anymore. But offensively, that Scatterbo's healthy again. I mean, they've got some weapons. And then, of course, everybody thinks that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
There's been real things that, people think they're going to do something this year. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I like the Giants pick. I think they have They have a good coach. They have a lot of young talent.
They do.
So
yeah, it'll be fun to. It'll be fun to watch.
It'll be great.
As an NFC East guy, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I think the Eagles. Losing A.J. Brown, you guys got a nice receiver in the first round. I think the Eagles are going to be pretty good this year too. So it's
new offense yet again. Another offensive coordinator, eighth one in 9 years. So
there's not Well, in my opinion, I don't see a single like team that's I'm like, yeah, they're gonna win the Super Bowl this year.
Which is what you want.
Yeah,
want
that's
to,
what you want.
exactly.
So yeah.
All right, last topic for me. I don't know if you watch the Little League World Series again. I'm a baseball person.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, always good. I hate it when a shortstop makes an error and he cries because he's 11 or 12 and he should because it's a big moment. So that part's sometimes hard to watch. But do you know about Kinley Rasmus?
No, I didn't know.
Kinley Rasmus is a young lady on one of the U.S. teams. She plays for the team out of Alabama, and she's a force, man. So on the mound as a pitcher, she tied the record for most strikeouts in a Little League World Series.
Wow.
And then at bat, she has the most hits by a girl. There's like Monet Davis back in the day. There's a whole movie about her. She tied that girl's record, that woman's record.
Okay.
There's a whole Kinley is like got this whole thing going where a bunch of girls in the stands, young girls, are like watching her, and they have a Fear the Bow t-shirts on, so it's a whole thing. It's fun to watch. She is the daughter of MLB guy Corey Rasmus. He played for the Blue Jays and played for some other teams, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch. Little League World Series is always fun to watch. They're down to the final, I think 8 teams now, and Kinley Rasmus plays Wednesday against Ohio. So if you get home and that's on, you should watch it. She's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. I will. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, she's really good. So.
Yeah, it's always cool to see like really like young people, even younger than me, play in a stage where it's nationally televised.
It's awesome, and the history of the Little League World Series has always been that way. So. All right, so we did it, Harrison.
Yeah.
Episode 1, Season 2. We'll be back in a week or two and probably talk college football for sure because that's getting started, among other things. And obviously, Season 2, we've got some other things planned and other special guests and all kinds of topics. And if you follow us on Spotify, throw a comment in. Tell us what you want to. What do you want to? What do you want us to debate, or who you want us to have on, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, great to recap all the sports so far.
All right, man. Everybody, have a great day. Have a great week.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.